What up? This is Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and I'm here today for Destined, out November 17th. And I'm here with the writer director Qasim and one of the stars, Cory, one of my favorite stars. Good. How are you, gentlemen? Awesome. Let me start with you, Cory. Big fan of Brotherly Love, American Sniper. Yeah, All Eyes on Me. Oh, a big fan of yours for quite some time. So, but this is a very how do you call that? I guess a challenging task for you because you have to play two characters. I mean, can you speak to that? And also, what crossed your mind when you first read Qasim's script about this? Having to play two roles.
Well, when I first read the script, it was something different that I haven't read before, and it was a great opportunity to like tackle a character, like playing two characters in a movie, but they both were like real characters, and they both were, relatable to like the world, today. And I try to, look at roles that reflects the times, and it definitely was on the page. So, that was, a testament to Qasim's script writing. And yeah, and then we built like a connection throughout the years, and then it was time to shoot. And then, he believed in me to play the character, and we went to Detroit and knocked it out. And it was, one of the best experiences shooting something in my life. It was challenging with the cold and just two characters, but it all worked out. And it's something that, definitely I can take with me for the rest, of my career, just the experience. So
Is that how y'all pronounce it? Qasim.
Awesome. Blessing.
All right. Qasim, congratulations again. So I've seen the film. Can you talk a bit about the inspiration for this story? And was Cory in your mind when you wrote it? I mean, how did he get on board? And the whole, challenges that come with it.
I'm really fascinated by like how much choices impact. I mean, we're basically a culmination of all the choices we've made in our lives, and like there have been things that happen in people's lives, and certainly things that have happened in mine that have changed my life drastically. I'm sure of it. And I don't know, like, I can't like know what would have happened if I would have stayed in this neighborhood or if I wouldn't have started playing football, but I can make a movie about it, because there's a lot of these guys in this neighborhood I used to stay in Detroit that didn't do very well in life. Some of them aren't alive anymore. And I always think like, man, what if I was still around them? Would that be my destiny too? I don't know. But it's fascinating to consider. And so I felt like I could, I can't live that, but I could write about it, and that phenomenon is really interesting to me. So, but early on in the process, I talked to Cory. I mean, this was some years ago about a smaller role in the film, and at the time, the movie we went through a lot, just like I'm sure any other independent film to get made. But through the process, people were in and out, whatever, and then Cory was such a strong figure, and at the time, I just noticed everything he was in. He was just doing really well, and I was just like, well, I spoke to the producer. I was like, yo, why don't we just make Cory the lead? It's a lot of people that could play one of those characters or the other, and it's not so many that could play both as well as he did, so that was really intriguing to me that he was a guy that could go to both of those places, which is not a very easy thing to do.
On that note, I noticed also you kind of use two different color palettes to differentiate the look of two realities. Can you talk a bit about the creative choices with that? And also, Cory, did you bring in some of your, I guess, contributions as far as differentiating the mannerism and the behaviors of these two characters, or did you just pretty much follow Qasim's script, stick to it, or did you put in some of your creativity as well?
yeah, I pretty much followed the script, but I think in all characters you have to bring a sense of yourself to characters to maybe like enhance it. I try to find something in me that I can bring to the character. But my approach to always acting in a project, and specifically this one, is to be real, and that's just, I try to find the truth in everything I do, and I try to keep it simple. And that's what I think people can relate to that's worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Just honesty, passion, and just telling the truth and keeping it simple. And that's how I approach every character. And whatever I get from that place, is what's gonna, resonate, to people, I believe. And that's just my simple approach. So yeah. Yes.
Did you talk to any architects?
No, I watch YouTube. Being honest, I just looked at some YouTube. Personally, I didn't know any, so I just went to the internet, and just got my information from there. And then the drug dealer world, I played those characters pretty well. I played some characters in films, so I just kind of took that into this world, and maybe added a few little things here and there, and just went from there. So yeah, and I'm from Chicago. That's a brutal place, and it's a beautiful place at the same time. And I get all my life lessons and experiences just from real life, family members, friends, experience. So that's what I try to bring to the characters in the project. So
the color palettes, that was something that was discussed very early on in terms of trying to get a gritty sort of like a reddish brownish brick feel. Like bricks was a kind of in my mind when I thought about Sheed's world, the drug dealer world, and just a warmer thing because it was a lot more visceral and violent and extreme, and the tension was more on the surface versus the architect world, which was a lot colder. So those colors represented the bluers, the steel, the gray, because the tension was more under the surface. So, I mean, all that stuff is stuff that we had discussed early on and with the DP, and including, shooting it different, making it a lot more handheld in the drug dealer world, so it's a lot more movement, and versus anything in the architect world, which was a lot of static shots, and anytime we moved, it was mostly on Steadicam. So, I mean, those choices were all earlier on, and in post we pushed it one way or the other with the color correction. So
Of a loaded question here regarding the theme. Now, I've only been to Detroit once. I don't know the city really well, but we here in the West Coast, we grew up sometimes have a picture of what Detroit is like. Exactly how decades ago it was the Motor City, and then of course it became crime-ridden and all that reputation that comes with it. Talk a bit about bringing out that aspect, or what this film is trying to say about Detroit City. And the second part of that is also with regards to Jesse Metcalf's character's dad, where some people may have some suggestions or ideas about how to improve a city, but it's not to, I guess, the benefit of the community itself. They just want to, kind of have the reputation for doing so. Can you talk a bit about tapping into that themes for this film?
I really just wanted to keep it as honest as possible about what's actually happening in the city. I mean, I didn't want to put my own idea, like this is what it is. Like I spent that summer in Detroit before we shot, because initially we were supposed to shoot that fall, but he ended up getting another movie and bumping us actually. but no, it was a conversation we all had, and we all kind of agreed to push it back to the winter. But I stayed in Detroit all that summer and adjusted the script because I saw what was happening, and I saw just how the city started to change, and people would come in and they have their ideas about what they want for the city, and it's not necessarily in the best interest sometimes of people who've been there a while, and they don't necessarily think about those people all the time, even if you consider Detroit right now, which they're developing about 7 square miles of it, but the city itself is 144 square miles. So it's a huge city, but there's only a pocket in which they're really focusing on and making the new Detroit. And in those pockets, it is largely, the demographics are largely Caucasian and of higher net worth. So the people that actually represent the most of the population of that city aren't necessarily seeing as many benefits as those in those pockets. So, it's not like screw those guys. Everyone has their opinion, and gentrification comes in waves, and it's been through the history of this country. But that's why we're doing things like, we started a program called Project Destined, where we teach kids in Detroit about gentrification, about development, about real estate, so that they can potentially get involved. And the project was actually inspired by the film. So, it's not about looking at it like these guys are bad and these are good, but just like how can we change it for the better.
And with regards to your character, because he wants to build this community center. I don't know if you yourself, Cory Hardrict, has any plans in the future to kind of give back to the community somehow yourself. Can you talk a bit about that, the themes itself?
I can say the themes in both worlds is universal. I'm not too familiar with Detroit. That was my first time, like working on a project there. It was like my second time there, so only thing I knew was the Pistons and the line. But when I got there, it's definitely it's an artistic city. It also, I feel like this abandonness that's just different, that I haven't felt like when I like from Chicago or like different Midwestern places. Like Detroit has this, it's just like this artistic abandoned I Am Legend feel. That films really well, and it brings out a truthfulness and in character. It's just like I really felt in this character, in both characters. Just being in Detroit, I don't think we could have shot it anywhere else, and I owe that to Detroit. So well, I do give back. I don't make it known. I don't sit out here and post and say what I do, but like I said, I was in Puerto Rico, and I had to go through, like, well, I didn't go through, the people of Puerto Rico had to go through some devastation of 2 hurricanes, and I had to go back both times, and each time it got worse. So like I said, I volunteered with the Red Cross and Salvation Army there. I donated like half my closet, but those are things I don't tell people. I gave over $10,000 to people because they didn't have clean water. The lights are still like, there's still like no power. People are getting like diseases if you step in like a puddle of feces. It's something that's hard to if you're not there experiencing it, you won't know. Just reading about it, but if you're there, you're just like, I cannot believe that these people, like, there are people, what I'm saying, that you have to live this way. So that was something that I really felt like that was necessary for me to do, and to be a part of that experience, working there and helping people and helping families. So yeah, but how that relates to Destin, Destin's a real movie. It's, both worlds are real, and people are going through these things in both worlds, and hopefully you can learn something from it.
Themes, because you asked about the gentrification element, but just in terms of the themes overall, I think, when it comes down to it, like, each character had this sort of moral question, and it's about really staying true to what you believe is right for yourself and what's right for your people, and how it'll benefit your community. And the drug dealer world was obviously more about his family, and making a big choice that would turn that one way or the other. And the other one, it was about his community. So I think we all go through life and we have these questions, especially if you're really trying to do something major in life or something significant. You're questioned sometimes, and you go up against things that cause you to have to make an important and significant decision. And I think he does a terrific job of doing that in both worlds. So.
Well, I'm a big believer that our destiny is what we decide it to be. So thank you so much for this film. Very profound. And check out Destined, November 17th. Let's rock this.